Hello, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Today, playing some Gruul Burn. Tried Mono Red Burn, tried Naya Burn. Now it's time for some Gruul Burn. Before I get into the deck list, the usual YouTube stuff, like, comment, and subscribe if you can. Thank you very much for doing that. And information about the deck list and timestamps are in the description as always. So this is another list from the Hooglandia Open that happened just a little while ago. This is by JayGravy, and it only went 2-2 in the event. However, I thought the deck looked super sweet, and it was something I wanted to try out since we got Atarka's Command in the format now. Let's take a look at the deck. So of course, we're going to have a whole bunch of creatures, the usual suspects, Soulscar Mage and Lava Runner, both 4-ofs. A little bit of a surprise with the Grim Lavamancer, just a 1-of though. It is also a wizard, and it has a pretty cool activated ability. It says exile 2 cards from your graveyard. Grim Lavamancer deals 2 damage to any target. So it's only a 1/1. Sometimes it gets in for 1, but a lot of the time, if we have cards in the graveyard, we hold it back and we can ping something, or we can ping the opponent's face. Then we get into some interesting creatures. We have 4 Dreadhorde Arcanists. This is a wizard, so it goes with our usual theme, and it's a card that I know is super powerful, but I've always shied away from it in Burn, mostly because it has an ability that says when Dreadhorde Arcanist attacks, you may cast target instant or sorcery card with converted mana cost less than or equal to Dreadhorde Arcanist's power from the graveyard. Most of the time in a Burn deck, Dreadhorde Arcanist's power is only going to be 1. There aren't a lot of great things to be flashing back, really only Shock and Pillar of Flame. That's why I haven't really put Arcanists in many decks. But now with the Atarka's Command, things are a little different, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in a second. And then the last interesting card is Klothys, a full 4-of, and I do want to talk more about this card. I was really surprised to see Klothys in the deck, but after playtesting with the deck just a little bit, I realized, yeah, maybe Klothys is real. It has a great ability. It says, at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, exile target card from a graveyard, either your opponent's or yours. If it is a land card, add red or green. Otherwise, you gain 2 life, and Klothys deals 2 damage to each opponent. 9 out of 10 times, this is going to be dealing 2 damage to your opponent. It's a free shock, plus it gives you a little bit of life back, so it gives us that little bit of sustain that sometimes we need in this deck. Next, there's a little bit of an added bonus with Klothys, and that is that it works very well with Spectacle cards. This is happening at the beginning of our first main phase. That means our Skewer the Critics and Light Up the Stage are going to be online to be played for just 1 red. This is awesome in the deck because sometimes that can be a little bit awkward. I've had a lot of situations where I've had like 2 Skewers in my hand and only 3 mana, and it's just, you know, you can't play them out. Now we can play both of them out without an issue. And since we have Soulscar Mage in the deck with the Prowess, it makes it a little bit smoother for that creature. As far as the spells in the deck go, typical spells that you would expect: 4 Shocks, 4 Atarka's Command, 4 Skewer the Critics, already mentioned that, and 4 Wizard's Lightning. The Wizard's Lightning we should be able to reliably cast for 1 red because we have 13 Wizards in the deck. As far as Atarka's Command goes, I've talked about it a lot in the Naya Burn deck. It's still great. Mostly we're concerned with the 2nd and the 4th ability. We want to deal 3 damage and pump up our creatures, especially Dreadhorde Arcanist, and it also has the added benefit of canceling our opponent's life gain if we need it. Now, Dreadhorde Arcanist is a card that is super powerful when it comes to Atarka's Command, and that's because, well, if you use the 4th ability, creatures you control get +1/+1 and reach until the end of turn, suddenly Dreadhorde Arcanist's power is 2. That means when it attacks, it can flash back Atarka's Command. Now, Atarka's Command on its own, it's just going to deal 3 damage to the opponent's face, and that's it. With 1 Dreadhorde Arcanist on the field, suddenly that Atarka's Command is dealing an extra 5 points of damage. Take a look at this clip. Now, imagine we have 1 or 2 additional creatures on the field with the Dreadhorde Arcanist. That's going to be so much damage going towards the opponent. They're not going to be able to deal with it, and it's probably going to help us close out most games. To round out the rest of the spells in the deck, we are playing 4 Light Up the Stage, already mentioned that, and also 4 Abundant Harvest. That card came out as a bit of a surprise to me. I thought it was going to be a little bit clunky, but after playing with it a little bit, I'm actually a little bit impressed with the card. Helps us smooth out our lands, helps us find action when we need it, and it works really great with Dreadhorde Arcanist and Soulscar Mage. And finally, the last card that we have access to is Giganta as our companion. Why not play it? We don't need the full 15 cards in our sideboard, so put it in. It comes in when we need it. Next, the lands in the deck are pretty typical, just a normal Gruul mana base. However, it was playing 2 lands that I thought were a little bit surprising, 4 pathways and 1 basic forest. I said in my Naya Burn deck that I was really unsure about playing non-red generating lands. In this deck, though, I think 9 out of 10 times that pathway is going to come down on red. And even when it does come down on the green side, or when we do find our forest, we're going to be able to utilize that mana fairly efficiently. We have Abundant Harvest in the deck. We have Dreadhorde Arcanist, which needs 1 generic mana to cast. We have the Atarka's Command and also Klothys. So a few more sources that can utilize these green sources, and I think overall it's probably not going to be too big a problem. At least I haven't run into that yet in my playtesting. Over in the sideboard, they kept it simple. 4 Cindervines, 3 Roiling Vortex. I absolutely love both of these cards. They're always coming in against spell slinging or control decks, and they're constantly winning me games. In addition, we have 2 Fries, 2 Lava Coils, just in case we need a little bit more damage to deal with bigger creatures with higher toughness, and then 3 Soul Guide Lanterns to deal with graveyards. So that is the Gruul Burn deck. Gonna run it through a few games, see how it performs. I think there's really something to this deck, and I'm pretty excited to try it out. See you over there. Alright, so Gruul Burn. I really like the deck. I've been having fun with it over the last 2 days. It might be better than the Naya deck. Might be. Alright, this hand, it looks like it's going to get a little bit clunky, but hopefully these Abundant Harvests can find us some better lands. I am going to start with the Abundant Harvest, and we don't find a better land. I really wanted a Stomping Grounds, something like that. But, oh well. Next turn, couple of options, probably Abundant Harvest into Grim Lavamancer, but we'll see what we draw. Okay, opponent on Izzet, maybe Phoenix, probably Phoenix, definitely Phoenix now. Klothys, if we can get it down, will be really great. Okay, go find a land, and, well, that's fine. Okay, I want to start putting something onto the field. I probably, you know, could have made the argument to hold up the shock there just in case they put out a, what is it called, Dorat? Sprite Dragon, that's what it's called. Could have shocked it before it got bigger, but even in the case, you know, they have 3 mana, it's not going to get bigger than a 2/2, so I'm not too concerned about that. They do have the Pillar of the Flame, that's fine. So now, certainly, we're going out with Klothys, and they have 1 turn to animate that Phoenix before we can take it out. Then, we can actually still take it out, even if they get in with the 1 Phoenix this turn. We can respond to Klothys' trigger, shock it, and then eat it. So, it's looking likely that they are going to be able to play it out. Still, taking 3 damage is not going to be a big deal. Hopefully they use a lot of their resources here. That being said, Phoenix's resources are all cantrips, so they're not really losing much. Okay. Now if they have 2 Phoenixes, or 3, then things get a little iffy. They don't. Okay. Okay, still time. No Phoenix. Okay, that's good. I am going to go full control just to make sure I have... Why did it do that? I had full control. It took it off, and then I put it back on, and it... MTGO, or MTGA sucks sometimes, man. I'm very annoyed by that. Because there's no reason that Phoenix should be on the field right now. Okay. Yeah, full control's on now. My camera's hiding it. I don't know. Okay. I guess what I had to do was set a stop here. But even then, I should have, like, this should have just gone on the stack and I should have been able to respond to it. I don't understand why it went right into it. So I didn't shock the Phoenix there because there's no point in putting it in the graveyard at this point. It's going to hit us for another 3, which is not a huge problem. We are going to be gaining a lot of life with Klothys. I'm a little annoyed to start off things like this, but that's fine. It's fine. And the Pyromancer is cool there. We should be able to get rid of both creatures next turn pretty easily. I could actually shock now. Yeah, we'll shock now. Save 2 points of damage. Okie doke. Put that out. Put out the G2 Lava Runner. And let's attack. Shock the young Pyromancer before it can do too much. Okay. They thought they were being clever and taking out our Dreadhorde Arcanist, but thankfully we had that option. And now, do I want to put Gigantha in my deck? Yeah, let's, we'll put Gigantha in hand, sorry, not in deck. There's the Sprite Dragon. It could get out of control, and that could be a bit of a problem, but I really got to watch the replay about what happened with the Klothys. I definitely thought I should have been able to respond to that going on the stack. That's very good for the opponent. The finale, it'll put the Sprite Dragon up to a 4/4, which we can get rid of, but it'll require a little bit more effort. Sure. Do they attack? They attack. Alright. So, let's get rid of a Faithless Looting. Let's Spectacle, because, or light up the stage, because we can. See what we draw. Nothing great. So, I'm going to put this onto the Sprite Dragon, attack with the Dreadhorde Arcanist, and I have a shock in there to kill the Sprite Dragon with. We are at a comfortable 18 while the opponent is struggling a bit. Get a non-land. Skewer the critics. I can save it. Be able to turn it on very easily next turn with Klothys. Abundant Harvest being the only target right now for the Dreadhorde Arcanist, but still, free Abundant Harvests are pretty great, aren't they? Okay, let's get their last Faithless Looting. Bye-bye. Attack with the Arcanist to get another non-land. Oh, the opponent very generously allowing me to cast the Abundant Harvest. Okay. And then kill them. Kill them. So even though things were a little bit weird with that Phoenix snafu with Klothys, still super good result from our deck. Like, it didn't even feel that close, right? Okay, I like bringing in Fry and Lava Coil against this deck, and then a couple of Soul Guide Lanterns. I don't know if I want the full... Do I want the full 3 of? Maybe. I think G2 Lava Runners and Grim Lavamancers are just too vulnerable in this matchup. There's no reason to have them in the deck. I also don't feel overly hot about Soulscar Mage, but it is better than the other two that are just shock fodder. At least with the Soulscar Mage, I can pump it up with like a shock. I think what I'm going to do is take out one more Soulscar Mage, one Wizard's Lightning, and try like that. Just try to keep the Phoenix deck controlled and win through like Klothys pinging. That's kind of the plan. I suspect they will have ways of dealing with Klothys though, ways of bouncing it back to our hand. So definitely got to be careful with that. Opening hand, a lot of spells, but that's fine. We can lead on the Stomping Grounds. Even if they put out a Sprite Dragon on turn 1, it's fine. Found the forest. Okay, so they get in for 1. We're going to shock it. No big deal. I'm going to put out the mountain just in case they have another Sprite Dragon that I can shock next turn with the card we just drew. There it is. So even if they have a way to pump it, it's gone. Goodbye. Oh, a Clothis would have been really good there, but not to be. Put in the Stomping Grounds. This might actually end up being a Gigantha game, the way it's shaping up. Does it resolve? They could have counter magic. Oh, okay. So now that the Clothis is on the field, I think it's just a matter of dragging out the game, and we should be able to win. They were highlighting it, so maybe they do have a way of bouncing it. Maybe not. Gigantha into hand, pass to the opponent, hold up Atarka's, I guess. I don't feel like I'm in much of a hurry in this game. Yeah. The opponent knows what's happening. They got stuck on lands. There was no way they were being Clothis. It's just too powerful. Awesome first game. Let's go to the next one. Alright, match number 2. Hopefully we find a few more Clothises, because that card is just crazy. Good to be on the play, and speak of the devil, there she is. Alright, I'm going to lead off with a Soulscar Mage. I got to make a decision with this pathway very soon, whether or not I put it on green or not. Maybe my opponent will allow me. Okay, so we get a little bit lucky. I get to get in with the Soulscar Mage. I get to light up the stage and see if I find some better mana, and I do not. So, this is really awkward. I would love to put this out on the red side, be able to play out the Soulscar Mage, but I think I can't afford to do that, so I'm going to put it out on green. This is kind of what I was talking about with that awkwardness of these types of cards. Hopefully it doesn't impact us too much, and if we find a land here, then things will go a lot smoother. It'll push, sure. Find the land, so bye-bye Soulscar Mage. I think it's probably better just to get out the Clothis. So the opponent seems to be probably on some kind of Ultimatum deck, is my assumption here. Let's get rid of that. Put in a Dreadhorde Arcanist. That gives us access to our Wizard's Lightning. We can fling them off if something happens to the Arcanist. Otherwise, maybe we get in for one next turn. Vraska. Well, she can kill poor Dreadhorde. And she chooses to do that. You know what? I think I'm just going to put the shock on Vraska, get rid of her. We lose our Arcanist, but that's okay.
It's not often I'm outmaneuvered.
Okay. Did not want to see another Clothis, so I guess put Gigantha into hand and just keep slowly pinging them down. Okay. That's going to be bad because they're going to be able to start gaining life every turn.
Liliana Vess? Sorry, haven't heard that name before.
Ooh, okay. Make note of that. They have Oath of Kaya in the deck, so definitely going to have to bring in our anti-life gain. Alright, not a whole lot I can do. It's been a bit of a struggle with lands and with a little bit of everything. Obviously, this configuration is not good. Getting stuck at 3 with 2 Clothis in hand. Nasty. It would be really nice if we had an Atarka's and be able to shut off this passive life gain.
I have impeccable study habits.
Okay. So, as predicted, Ultimatum time. And they get to return permanents. So a shovel and 2 lands. Really glad I got rid of that Vraska. I kind of did it, and the Oath of Kaya, a little unintentionally, I'll admit. But let's put this on face. Tarka's Command. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So, that was a very good draw. We'll see what happens. They're losing life by doing that.
Ugh, there has to be an answer here.
Vraska. Sure. Not scared. Not too scared of her.
Wherever I
They're probably going
go,
to sack a land, draw a card.
bodies in my wake. Sacrifices.
Sack the Shovel.
Time to time.
Okay. What do they have access to? 7 mana. There's the Ultimatum. So let's make sure they can't gain life this turn. Hit them for 3. Let them, what? Put a Shovel and a Treacherous Blessing onto the field? I think we're going to be very close to winning this one. Wow. That Atarka's Command came up huge. Wow, the power of this deck. It feels so good. Klothys just constantly impresses me. I absolutely love this card. It's... A friend of mine says it's too powerful, and yeah, maybe. Okay, so Roiling Vortex is a no-brainer in this matchup. And then I kind of like the Cinder Vines as well. Gotta assume... do I want Soul Guide Lantern? Maybe. That's a lot of cards to bring in, though. Grim Lavamancer, bye-bye. I think Soul Scar Mages are probably also getting cut. They're going to have Fatal Pushes. Certainly. Do I just get rid of all of my creatures? Yeah. It kind of feels weird to do, but I think that's what I'm gonna do. Try it out. Maybe I'm crazy to drop all of those small creatures, but against a deck like this, they're gonna have so many targets for like Kaya's Guile and that, and I can't give them that many opportunities to gain life. Opening hand looks a lot better than it did last time. Can play out the Rootbound Crag to start, and then Pathways on red, build up to a Klothys, and yeah, 2 Atarkas is going to be really good to blank that little bit of life gain that they have. Oof, Duress. Okay. Well, it's not too bad because they can't take the Klothys. Thankfully, it's not a Thoughtseize. Okay. Soul Guide Lantern. Opponent passing it back, missing their land. Oh, goodness gracious, opponent. And we're just going to jam the Klothys. They can't do anything about it. And we're in good shape. Can't we eat our own card there? Again, it didn't go on the stack. Does it just not go on the stack? Okay, let's Abundant Harvest for a non-land. Grab the best non-land, I believe. And now we're pinging them down for 3. It's just going to be a slow burn. And hopefully we'll be able to take them out. They have a Vanishing Verse, though. Sure. Klothys dodging the Vanishing Verse is pretty fun. Sure. Maybe they take the Atarka. Well, they're at least giving food to Klothys, and would you look at that? Ooh. Okay. So, thankfully, I have a forest in the deck. May as well go grab it. I'm going to use that red mana just to turn off their life gain. Not a big deal. Sure. Okay. This is extraordinarily boring. I'm so sorry. But I think it's pretty neat. This burn deck is almost playing like a control deck at the moment. Explore, sure. They missed their land. Alright. Well, we didn't necessarily win entirely on our own merits, the opponent having trouble with land, but still, that was a pretty convincing performance again. Next one. Alright, match number 3. So far, things are trucking along pretty well. Get to play first. Opening hand's fine. I actually didn't mean to snap keep that. I just my cursor was hovering over the perfect spot and I kind of accidentally clicked on the mouse. Oops. Alright. Still, not a big problem. I think what I'm going to do is put that out. I'm going to put out a Soulscar Mage and probably not cast the shock. I'm going to hold up the shock, assuming they have like a pillar or a shock of their own to try to kill one of our creatures. They don't. Okay, so next turn we can actually push quite a bit of damage with this Atarka and either the Abundant Harvest or the shock. Okay, so opponent not giving me too much information, but I think it's worth it to try to fling this off now. I would love like a stomp or something. Yeah, a shock. Sure. Hopefully they don't have a second shock. If they do, they do. A lightning axe. Okay, so probably Phoenix, which could have assumed that. Still, look how much damage just happened. Ho, ho, ho. Next turn, the Gitu Lava Runner can come down with haste, get in for another 2. Potentially more now with this Atarka's Command. Opt. Oh, if they dig for like a shock here, that would be so good for us. Oh, I feel like a bad guy. Ooh. And now Colossus off the top would be just perfect. Ah, they don't even give us a chance. Wow. Oh my god. Alright. So, Soul Guide Lanterns, Lava Coils, Fries for what I'm assuming is... Lightning Axe kind of screams Phoenix to me. I got to assume that's what it is. Same thing, I think I'm going to take out the majority of my creatures just because they're going to have pillars and shocks. Too vulnerable. Take them out. Seems to be the story of a lot of games these days for me. I just don't necessarily like having creatures with X2 toughness. Sure. Now the question is, do I want to lead on the Soulscar Mage? I think probably because well, now that I drew this red source, I can actually hold up the shock next turn. So maybe it's just the Soul Guide Lantern. Not doing a very good job drawing the dual lands in this deck right now. A little annoying, but... Okay, opponent just spinning their wheels over there. A lot of lands. Cloth, this is exactly what I wanted to see. So put it out, they try to kill it with maybe a stomp or a shock. I can try to save it. Now the situation looks especially good because they can't double up on that. They probably have a land for the opt, okay? Sure. So that means I'm going to comfortably get Colossus down onto the field. I don't think they're going to be expecting that because I didn't reveal any information about that last game. Get in for 1, and things look okay. I'm going to set a stop on my upkeep just so I can maybe shock a Phoenix if that's in the case, you know, what's going to be happening in a second. That is the case, is what I meant to say. Okay, well, probably not now. So they shocked and Faithless Looting. I think they made their land drop, so yeah. What do I want to take? Let's hit the shock, I think. Just because they could have the finale to flash it back. I shouldn't have played out my land there. I didn't realize I had the light up the stage active. Okay, Dreadhorde Arcanist. Go to the field. Leave up 1 mana just in case maybe I want to draw with this or have a shock open. I don't know. We'll see. Pillar of Flame. Cool. Sure. They're going to use 2 cards on my Dreadhorde. That is super fine when a Colossus is on the field eating away at them. Ooh, a Tarkas. Nice. Get the pillar. Gonna use the skewer while I can. Thank you, Clothis, for giving me a bit of a discount. And Soulscar Mage to the field. I'm gonna leave up the Atarka's Command, just in case. With the Atarka's Command, I can actually get the Soulscar Mage's toughness to 4. It still dies to 2 shocks or, you know, some combination of those spells. So it's really not that great, but if they do have like a lightning strike, which I very much doubt they have. Okay, so there's the finale of Promise. I was correct to assume the shock was coming. I'm gonna actually use this now. And the reason I'm doing that is because Atarka's Command only goes face, and I might need the shock for a Phoenix later on. That was at least my thought process. Perhaps I should have exiled the graveyard with the Soul Guide Lantern before they were able to do that. Now I'm looking at that and I don't know why I didn't just exile the graveyard. Big misplay there. Still, I think things are going to work out just fine. Not the best. Let's hit the Brainstorm, I suppose. Abundant Harvest for a non-land. A Lava Coil for the Stormwing entity. And how sweet is that? Even forgetting to use the Soul Guide Lantern, this deck still so powerful. Okay, one more. Alright, more Gruul Burn. So far, Cloth is just showing how powerful of a card it is. I don't know if it's because of the meta the way it is right now, or just because the card is absurd. One of the two. Ooh, so this hand is so tempting to keep because of the Dreadhorde plus the Atarka. I'm going to have to go Rootbound Crag, turn 1 tapped, turn 2 Abundant Harvest, find a land, and I'm not going to start getting Dreadhordes onto the field until turn 3. I'm going to try it. I like the looks of it. I want to take the risk. The opponent is going first, though, so we could get blown out by a Thoughtseize. I shouldn't say that, but it might happen. Okay, the opponent mulliganing down to 6. And it is Phoenix again. Wow, maybe. So we miss again on the land, but that's okay. Hi, Spriter. Don't have a way of dealing with that right now. Ooh, that changes things a little. So I think it is going to be Dreadhorde right off the bat, and I think we're racing. Hopefully they don't have a way of dealing with this Dreadhorde Arcanist. They probably don't. I'm going to be very tempted to actually Wizard Lightning the Sprite Dragon next turn instead of a Atarka Command. Oh, they got the Stormwing entity that they can't cast out. And we hit that. Okay, wow. So that's easy now. I'm getting rid of the Sprite Dragon while I can. Gonna cast the Atarka's Command. Oh, here comes some damage. Boom. A bit more damage. And if they're not careful, they could be dead very quickly. Opt for the opponent. They're struggling with mana a little, fortunately for us. Unfortunate for them. Yep. You take advantage of all your opponent's little... not misplay. Certainly not a misplay. They're bad luck is what I wanted to say. That's why I wanted to keep the Dreadhorde Arcanist. It's just so crazy and so powerful. Okay. I got to... Is it Phoenix? I shouldn't make the decisions too quickly. It could just be... Is it Prowess? But I think it's probably Phoenix again. Everybody's on Phoenix, so... Maybe I'll only bring in 2 Soul Guide Lanterns because I'm not 100% sure if it is or isn't Phoenix. And I'll do something like that. Alright, game 2. See if we can pick on some more Phoenix decks. It's awfully tempting, isn't it? So, turn 1 pathway on green, abundant harvest, find a land. If it's a forest, big trouble. If it's not the forest, I'm fine. But I still need to draw another land to make the later half of our deck work. But I will have access to at least Fry to be able to take out a maybe Stormwing Entity or Sprite Dragon. I'm gonna keep it. I don't know. I'm having fun. I want to keep it. Hey, that's cool. So I'm still doing this though. Ooh. So, wow, that is scary. Gonna have two forests, and I'm not too excited about that. So. Klothys might have to do a lot of heavy lifting this game. Okay, so the opponent is going a little bit slow. Okay. That Rootbound Crag is massive. Still going to play with the forest. Because why not? This is going to come in untapped. If I played out this, I play the forest next turn. It's the same difference, right? Okay, mountain. So if they play out some kind of threat, I can still shock it. Or not shock it, but kill it. Okay, lands are going well. As long as they don't have an answer for Klothys, super good. Okay. They could still have a Brazen Borrower to bounce it with Petty Theft. Nope. Alright, so a little bit of food in the graveyard. Hopefully there'll be a little bit more in a little while, and things are actually looking pretty good. Okay, the opponent having a hard time with that Brainstorm. Big decisions to be made, I guess. They probably are unsure whether or not they want to crack this Fabled Passage. Really great synergy with Brainstorm and Fabled Passage, but you definitely got to plan for it, and we don't know. Arc-like Phoenix is fine. So I set my stop because I want to do this now. Draw. Main phase. Eat the Phoenix. And put out a Soulscar Mage. It might get destroyed, but that's fine. Okay, Pillar of Flame, as kind of expected. And that's all they have? Okay. Let's get rid of... yeah, the Brainstorm. I'm thinking if they have a Finale of Promise again, they can get a sorcery and an instant, so I was thinking maybe I should get the Pillar of Flame, but I don't know. We'll just do that for now. I'm going to put this on their face, start working damage in. And yeah, Gigantha? Yeah, put Gigantha into hand. Not really using my mana efficiently there, but maybe it's okay. Aether Gust, take action. We're going to be putting it on the top. It's one of the most valuable cards in our deck against the Phoenix deck, so definitely want to be playing it out right here. Alright, so the Aether Gust, saving them 2 life for the moment. Okay. I wonder if that is a fry target. I really don't want to fry that one. I kind of want to save the fry for a Drake or a Stormwing entity. Okay. Perhaps I should have shocked there. Okay, should I 3, 6, 8, 10 damage next turn? Can't kill them. Am I worried about this? Maybe I should just put this all on face. I'm just gonna take the damage, it's fine. Sure. I don't know. Position feels so dominant right now. I don't feel like I'm worried about anything. Yeah, sure. Hit me. I have a friend who was complaining about Klothys about 3 weeks ago, I guess. Why does Klothys have to gain life? And I kind of defended it, saying, well, you know, it's a green card. A lot of green cards gain life. It's fine. And now I'm kind of looking at Klothys thinking, no, this card is absolutely absurd. Yeah. Pretty sweet. I was going to go to a wrap-up. Usually I only play 4 games for these videos, but since I'm 1 game away from Diamond, I thought, yeah, let's try to get Diamond. Finally a hand that is absolutely atrocious. We've been having good luck with our hands. This one I think I can keep. I'm going to throw away the light up the stage. Okay. Lead out on the Lava Runner. I don't feel too great about that since they very likely could have like a Fatal Push or something. Okay, still possible. No. Thankfully, that happens so I can get out the light up the stage, find not what I want. I wonder if I should just fire off this light up the stage again while I can. Okay, there's the Rootbound Crag. I really wanted to get the Klothys down on turn 3, but that might not be an option now. Okay, the opponent does find their land. So certainly, Rootbound Crag, you're gone. I think it might just be better to push damage and then turn 4 put out the Klothys. Gonna hold up the Wizard's Lightning. Maybe they have some kind of counter magic. They might be incentivized to counter it. So are they just ramping into ultimatums? If that's the case, we got a very, very good card in the sideboard for that. Okay. Well, I guess I just try to kill them instead of putting out Klothys. Okie doke. So, against this, it's got to be Ultimatum, right? It has to be. So I'm going to bring in the Roiling Vortexes. And that's probably all I really want in this matchup. Grim Lavamancer can go out, and the 2 Lava Runners can go down. Try it like that. Alright, game 2. Very close to Diamond. Hope I don't blow it. Shouldn't have said anything. Always jinxing myself. Okay. Keep that. Turn 1, Abundant Harvest, go get a land, as long as we don't draw the third land on turn 1. Turn 2, Dreadhorde Arcanist into hopefully turn 3 Clothless. That's the plan. Opponent mulliganed. Having a bit of trouble over there by the looks of things. And that's a pretty great card. So pay 2. Get a land. Perfect land. Ooh, they're helping us out with a little bit of damage so they can ramp. I like to see that. Okay. Well. Yeah. It's gotta be an Arcanist, right? Kind of tempted if, you know, they just pass a turn to Atarka's command since they're taking so much damage on their own. Getting very close to having the ultimatum next turn, potentially. Okay, gotta stick to the game plan. I want to land, I think. Yep. Alright, let's hope they don't have the 7th land into the ultimatum. Golos. Okay, so we have a turn. Golos is a little annoying, very hard to get through. Do I just load up the board now? I got to assume next turn things go real south, right? So if that's the case, then they could have potentially like Shadow's Verdict, destroy all of our creatures. That would be pretty annoying. But I think I have to try. If I can get these on the field and Atarka's command. Yeah. Okay. Fingers crossed. Nothing happens here. No disasters. For real? Going for it. They gotta have a way of killing the Dreadhorde Arcanist, right? Perhaps I should have cast Light Up the Stage first, being that Atarka's command is instant speed. Okay, Sublime Epiphany is very good. Very, very good. Okay. Alright, attack. They got a block. Probably the biggest one. They know I have the Wizard's Lightning. Okay, so do I put the Wizard's Lightning on face or do I put it on Golos? Like, do I care about Golos is the question. I think I don't. I just push 7 damage, put them down to 4, then they'll have 2 turns. And then I'm going to Abundant Harvest. I should have done that before attacking, but we'll see. Non-land. Okay, they have 1 turn now. Okay, they spin Golos and they hit Cultivate, Overgrown Tomb, and Island. Opponent, I'm so sorry. Those were pretty rough hits. Diamond with Gruul aggro, just going on an absolute tear with the deck. Oh, felt good. Let's go to wrap up and talk a little bit about this one. Alright, so overall I'm super happy with how this Gruul Burn deck performed. It just feels so good. When I first saw the deck I was super intrigued about it, but there were things that I was a bit unsure about. However, after playing like 15 or 20 games with it now, the deck feels solid. The Abundant Harvests are great whenever they're in my hand. Klothys is an absolute monster, and whenever I get it down on turn 3, it just does crazy things. The combination of Atarka's Command plus Dreadhorde Arcanist is obviously crazy. And you know what? The lands kind of worked out all right. Having the basic forest is still a little bit weird, but in one game, the opponent had a Field of Ruin, and that basic forest came up big. Also, playing 4 pathways when we're only playing 2 of the Rootbound Crag seems like a little strange thing to me. I wonder if I should take 2 pathways out and put in 2 Rootbound Crags, see how that feels. Maybe it doesn't feel great though. I don't know. I might have to test it. Overall, I think this configuration of the deck is very close to where Burn wants to be in Historic right now, and I think it might just need 1 or 2 little fixes here and there, and then it might be a real power to be reckoned with. Anyways, if you made it to the end of the video, thank you very much for sticking around. See you in the next one.